Today we got Mark from Stavesacre. Super excited to chat with you, Mark. It's been a few years now, and I know you're off the Twitter at this point, so I don't get to see you much more, or much these days. And so, I kind of miss you, man. I love. I always miss your snark. I miss how like pissed off you get about the Raiders and just how generally shitty they are. And I'm missing you, dude.
Well, I'm still just as much. There still is just as much snark, and I like to tell myself that I've cut back on the social media thing, but in all honesty, I mostly just don't ever want to post on Twitter or Facebook ever again. But I'm still, I'm on Instagram. I want to see pictures and videos, and it's my only source of news, really, Instagram and YouTube. So I'm still on there. People are still getting mad at me. Reddit, whatever.
Are you mostly lurking with a digital trench coat in the corner or what?
No, I talk a lot of shit. I don't really have I just feel like it's important to not be silent right now.
Yeah.
I'm nervous about things that I'd never been nervous about before in my life, and I think it's interesting
Like the
and with
quarterback
valid reason.
situation. You think Geno
Yeah,
Smith is actually going to be that much of
actually,
a
it's actually somehow the Raiders are a bright spot in my life right now.
Pete
On my
Carroll does that to a
non-essential life.
guy.
He seems like a really nice dude. I'm actually super into it.
Yeah.
It may not be what some people were hoping for, but man, it might end up being the best thing. And whatever, I can handle
Well,
it.
what's the number one thing that has Mark Salomon extra pissed off right now?
I would say everything I've learned in my whole life. Uh,
how specific?
let's see. I mean, I hate to paint with too fine a brush, but really every single element of my faith that I was taught about that resonated with me from the very moment that was part of the love that set me free. Every single element of it right now is being thrown in the dirt by people claiming to have the same faith as me. And
Hmm.
I'm supposed to just sit here and take it. I don't, I just can't. I can't, dude. It's just not really my jam.
Sure.
And, I do fear the way people react to things. I've already had, some pretty strange comments made, some weird threats made. This is going all the way back to Obama, but even now, now it's like we always knew it. And I'm still the same, dude. Like I think I would say what has got me so pissed off right now, so hurt and saddened, so that I'm full of rage, is the way the fundamental elements of my faith are disregarded as a weakness. I can't abide by it, man. And I
Hmm.
can't sit quietly and just be like, must be rough for those young whippersnappers. You know?
So
Uh,
what's caused the change?
I mean, I'm not a fan of the administration, but I'm as some people may know, I'm not really much a fan of any of the administrations because none of them, I I just don't think either of them really serve the people at all. And I
Sure.
understand that one is just overtly fascist, pot, throwing the frog into the boiling water, and then the other one is the slow boil where the frog doesn't realize it. I get all that
Mm.
stuff,
Mm.
man, and I understand that one is worse than the other, but we've gone over this. It's
Yeah.
just wake me up when there's something that I don't have to qualify, something that I don't have to what about or whatever, and it's just not there. But in my opinion, the answer to that is that the actual church should step away from this process entirely. And if you want to claim a faith, and people are going to take our faith and turn it into some sort of you know prison yard shank, I say take it away from them entirely. And the best
Yeah.
way to do that, in my opinion, is as not being done, which is ask these people who claim to be such devout Christians what it was like when they were on their face in misery, praying for forgiveness for being such a wretch. What was
Mm.
that night
Mm.
like? I'd be curious to hear the reactions. Would they even know what I was talking about? Because I bet you guys do.
I bet they
Oh
don't
yeah.
have every silly song with Larry memorized.
Hey man, I mean that's a part of my childhood, dude. It's and honestly, like Larry Norman played on the White House steps, dude, for Jimmy Carter. He
Yeah.
was a political motherfucker, and you know what, man? People listened to him and respected him as a human being. You know, nobody comes back now and is like, I can't believe he got, stay out of politics and stay in your lane. No one had ever said that about Larry Norman. What a ridiculous idea. And yet that's how they want, people like to rewrite history and turn everybody into this, weird vanilla dipped MLK thing. I just don't get it. It's like
I mean, they're gonna try to do that with Rich Mullins too.
they don't even acknowledge his existence. So mission accomplished. I
Yeah.
was thinking the other day, like, listen, I don't mean to jump right into this, but you all asked, man, and I'm right here.
I love it.
I The other day I heard something said by somebody who claims to be of the same faith as me, and all I could picture in my head was when I was a teenage, like 12, maybe 13 years old. We all went into downtown Fresno to see this artist that my parents had been listening to. He was given a free concert at the Selland Arena, which in Fresno at the time was massive, the big show, 8,000 people. And we went there and Keith Green played, right? And
Oh yeah.
I mean, the child, yes, impressionistic and all those things. Whatever. My faith is still my faith now, so it's still the same. But as a child, I was blown away by the conviction that that dude shared. And honestly, dude, some of it I still to this day don't agree with. But I think it's kind of bonkers. But not bonkers for the same reason that I think these maniacs are. Bonkers like everyone should be a missionary. Pretty sure that's not true. I don't see that for everybody. But the conviction and the sincerity with which he spoke about the humility before God as a human being and as a sinner, and I'm not talking about some nebulous. I was told that I used to be a sinner, so I must feel bad. I'm talking about I know exactly why I am a wretched piece of shit. I know why. This is not, and I'm sure there are. I am also very aware that I don't know all the ways that I am one, and I don't want to. I don't want to know. What I do know sucks. The things that I hate about I was just talking. I talked to Joey Svensson yesterday for his show. You guys are on some
Nice.
kind of
Yeah.
weird timeline. I don't. How can I was trying to put it best into words. I just don't think this is anything like what I was raised on, man. It just
Hmm.
is. There is no sincerity there. There is no conviction, dude. Like when Keith Green was talking, when Larry Norman was talking, when Rich Mullins was talking, when so many other artists and preachers and pastors, like sincere people that I took to leadership from in my life. Um, every time the challenge was against one's own self. Every time, it was always the challenge against your fleshly desires, your selfishness, or whatever. And now we're not to blame for anything. I wish I'd have known this earlier. It's all somebody else from another country. It's not me at all, dude. I'm good. That's where I'm at right now, seeing these people. I just cannot accept that mentality. And if I wasn't clear enough, what I mean is it's horseshit, dude. Everything about this is a pose. There is, if you put them on the spot, if one of these reporters who are supposed to be on our side, if one of them, just one of them, would ask them a question like that at some point, hey man, you wanted me to sign off on these new bombs that you dropped. Will you sign off on death to self? On selling all your possessions and giving to the poor? You signing off on that? What if you were asked to do that? Just as a question, just as a question. I'm just asking questions here. If God appeared to you tomorrow night and said, sell everything you have and give it to the poor, could you do it? Every person watching that thing would see that person's reaction and they would know if it was real, man.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true.
I just, I can't handle it. And I jumped on this. My wife always says, really did, you know. But dude, I just had like a really gnarly scare. All right, I was in the hospital.
Yeah.
I had a
Oh,
pretty
damn.
scary moment a couple months ago, and it was right when all this thing started. And I literally had to tell myself, dude, you gotta put the phone down. You cannot carry the weight of this. But I'm not in the hospital anymore, and I'm super pissed.
Yeah. Have you tried listening to Newsboys recently instead?
Oh my gosh, dude. I never really dug that stuff before, man. So I don't think that's where I'm turning now.
Okay, that's
Dude,
probably a good idea.
I listened to that Keith Green song the other day, "The Sheep and the Goats." Man,
Yeah.
listen to that. Listen to that song. I'm telling any person who hears this, listen
Hell
to
yeah.
Keith Green live talking about the sheep and the goats, and tell me who that if that reminds you of our administration in any way, shape, or form. And
Yeah.
if not, maybe it's time to just not have anything to do with this stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up Keith Green because I mean, talk about a guy with conviction. He literally owned a house in Beverly Hills that he just let anybody stay at. Like if you were
I didn't
homeless
know
and
that.
you were in Beverly Hills, he would let you stay at his house. And at one point there was like 30 some people staying at his house that he didn't know. And
That's awesome.
he would put on little shows for them every night.
Well,
And
Michael Tate did the
that he
same
was there
thing, but
with.
for different reasons.
Oh, come on now. Hey now. God
I,
damn.
I always know when there's going to be like somebody off the top rope with an elbow poking out, flying into the frame. And it's always something that makes sense. Anyway,
The people's elbow, I think
I
they call that.
appreciate what you're saying though, Mark, because I think for a lot of us, I certainly know that this is the case for Cullen and I, but for a lot of us, like I think the quote unquote deconstruction that many of us go through is largely catalyzed by the hypocrisy that we see. Like we
yeah,
can't, like
100%.
we like
100%.
eventually see that the faith that we were taught about this Jesus guy is so fundamentally antithetical to some of the administrations that many of these people that taught us this faith in Jesus are supporting. And we see that eventually, and then once you see that, you can't unsee it. And
Ah,
you
dude.
just realize like I got to figure out a different way to either be a Christian or I got to get out of this thing entirely. But there's lots of ways people do that. But it like still baffles my mind that there's so many people who grew up in that world, the same world that Cullen and I and you grew up in,
Yeah.
and still like can't see that hypocrisy. They can't see it.
Yeah.
Well, I
Or the
mean,
polished turds of the mega churches and the
oh man.
congregation stuff
I
like that
mean,
you see all the time now.
I don't know. I know you guys are familiar with Stavesacre's stuff, but the
Yeah.
Crucified had a song called "A Guy in a Suit and the Pope," right? And the entire point of the song was Robert Tilton, who's the put your hand on the screen pastor and all
Yeah.
that, and that's who I was talking to. That guy specifically, right? This TV preacher clearly, just clearly stealing money from people who want help, who think they can pay for God's attention or whatever, right? Um, and those same dudes, we all killed that. Like our generation of music and people brought so much scrutiny onto those turds that they all bounced. And dude, there was a long time, man, when televangelist was definitely a joke. Like that was a joke.
Hmm.
Most people wouldn't need to be told this is bogus, right? Now you got these same people praying over the over God. I just, dude, they're running the country now. Like, how did it
Mm-hmm.
go from you are persona non grata? Every denomination of Christian, like from from the farthest reaches of deep Ohio to Maine, all the way down to Southern California, on all the different kind of Christianities and non-denominational Christianities, all of us were pretty much in agreement that the TV preachers got to go. And now there's like more of them than ever. And
Yeah.
they don't even need a TV show. They have like these gigantic facilities that
They're just in the White
that you could
House.
Yeah. Yeah.
and they're in the White House, dude. They're in all the positions of power. And yet somehow none of the things that we were supposed to do are getting addressed in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
When I was
Well,
hungry, you
to
fed
put it
me.
in perspective for you there, Mark, my Sunday school teacher growing up, it wasn't Mason's Sunday school teacher, but it was my Sunday school teacher. She became the governor of my state, and then now is the head of the Department of Homeland Security, Christy Nome. And she's the one that's trying to create she's the one trying to create a like reality TV show about
Oh man.
deporting people,
Like 100
And,
games of immigrants.
but she also
Yeah, man.
wants like a theocracy. It's insane.
Well, it's interesting, dude. As I was growing up in the '90s, and really a couple years before Stavesacre formed, there was big rift in a lot of the Newman House as a general group of people. When I lived with Tim and all those bands and all these people were hanging out, there was a big rift in that group of people that went down some pretty hard lines that I'm sure if you've ever been to any kind of Bible college or a Christian university or whatever, that once Calvinism comes into the conversation, there's people start separating into their own little groups. But right about 94, 95, a bunch of my buddies got real hardcore into theonomy. And
Mm.
I mean, I wouldn't say any names, and I'm sure they'd be able to give me a long and wordy exegesis of their theology from scripture and all this crap. But I don't care. I don't care. You don't show me the person who saved me. That don't smell right. And I don't care if you can put a PowerPoint presentation together to defend your weird, kooky God by order thing. That's just not a deal, man. It's not. There's nothing you can say that will ever convince me that that's real. And I've felt that way for 30 years.
Mhm.
It's nothing new. I just back in the day we got kept at a church. I talked about this in the book, I'm sure, but we were kept at a church by these biker Christian guys who were like nuts. I mean, straight up nuts. The absolutely the villains behind all kinds of like sexual misconduct and shepherding and all that type of stuff. This was all really big deal back in the '80s and the '90s. This church was, but Crucify was playing a show for them because the guy who booked us, he left the church before we arrived for the show, but we had already been booked, so we didn't really know what was going on. And
Oh,
so we
sure.
get there, and the guy who books us is gone. And this is a godly man who I love still to this day. And then we were there with these crazy guys, and they like threatened us and locked the doors that nobody leaves the church until this pastor's done preaching and all that kind of stuff, right? And I'm like, what is this, dude? What even is this? And I knew at that time this is definitely wrong. And I'm sure they could have defended everything they say. Oh, this is bro, you got to understand, bro, just bro. It just goes on and on and on. And it's the same thing now, dude. It is the same thing. If it doesn't bear the scent of heaven, we can tell.
Hmm.
And the only way you can't tell is if you don't want to. If you have ever tasted the sweetness of grace, you can't not know what that's like. You can't just blow it off like it doesn't matter. I can't, dude. I'm a wretched piece of shit. I know that I was saved by grace, and brother, I can depend upon this. This is the straw, the last one that I'm grasping on, and I'm not really even grabbing onto it. It's wrapped around my wrist. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't. It's not because I chose to be godly that I am saved. I was dead and made alive. And I don't. I see no reflection of that in anything that's happening right now, and it's just
Mm.
hurts my heart.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's very eloquent.
I
I'm
don't
with
know
you.
if it is.
For how angry you are, it's pretty eloquent.
Yeah. Oh man, less eloquent on the socials, I believe. Sometimes it's just so frustrating. It's like, dude, shut up. Can you please shut up? You know what I mean? Like if you're talking to somebody and you both know this dude is full of it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's that level, but on a national broadcast. Whatever.
It's tough, isn't it?
It's just, dude, I want to live sincerely, man. And I hate to break it to anybody who's disappointed, but it was always going this way.
Yeah.
I believe what you said. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. You know, when Stavesacre wrote Speakeasy, we had seen and we were leaving. The beginning of that was during the writing of Absolutes, and by the time Speakeasy came out, it was decided we are done with this nonsense. You know,
Mm.
we didn't call it deconstruction. Nobody did, but lots of bands felt the same way.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, it was called backsliding back then.
It was called "He's Not a Christian Anymore." Oh no, I forgot one. He's part of the emergent church.
Oh,
Don't
yes.
I,
Good old
I
days.
still don't know what it means. Still don't care. The crazy part, dude, and I mean, I don't want to keep going on about this, but the crazy part is something that occurred to me just the other day when I was talking about this with a buddy of mine who is not a Christian, but who went to these schools and was around all these people. It just occurred to me, like, dude, I don't care if you disagree with me and my doctrine. If you have a way of turning this into something that I've done wrong, here's the crazy part. It totally doesn't matter. You have no power over me. I have no power over you. This is all an illusion. We're just supposed to be living and obeying. And if you're not doing that, start there. Talk to me later. You know what I mean? And I'm not
Sure.
saying I'm perfect, man. I'm saying I know you're not either. So knock it off.
It's the right way to put it. It's the right way to put it.
Well, should we talk about Furnacefest?
Sure, man. I'm sure everybody's turned off already. So
Oh, I guarantee you they're not.
They're just like they want more ranting from Mark Salomon.
oh
So,
no, man.
Mark,
My
what's
wife is
the
gonna be mad.
what was the story around getting involved in Furnacefest this year? So I know you guys played in 2021, so a
Mhm.
few years ago at this point. But yeah, what was the story of how this one's transpired?
Well, the first one came about because of Ryan and I believe Chad Johnson. Ryan Luther, who's a guy I knew way back in the day. He got me my first TV gig, just working on the sidelines of a local college football game. He's been a buddy for years. You know, I never see him anymore, of course, but he started working with those guys, and then COVID hit, and it didn't happen, and we came, and when they finally did do it, we all went, and it was super fun, and it was really the first festival of any kind or show I had gone to after the inception of COVID on, right? And it felt cool. It felt awesome to be at a show with a bunch of people. It was weird, you know, but it was cool. And ever since then, that thing has exploded. And I don't know. I think they are got their feet underneath them now and kind of feel comfortable circling back and doing other things. And they approached us about playing Speakeasy uh, front to back, which we would have happily done, but the time slot is really firm at a festival, and there's
Sure.
just no time. So we're playing at 4:20 on Saturday, and we have a 35-minute set. So, but there's a bunch of really good bands playing. Dude, one of my favorite weird guilty pleasures is actually playing this festival, man, and I cannot believe it.
Whoa. Well, can we get a little pull back on that curtain there?
I mean, I don't know if you want to tease it, but that's who I'll be talking about when you
Okay.
discuss
So
A
we'll talk
guilty
about it later.
pleasure. Okay.
All right.
playing at the festival. And I'm telling you, legit,
There's a big ass truck.
legit. I don't know what that is.
It's another band that's playing.
Gotcha.
So we've been going to Furnace Fest since 21, and we have enjoyed it immensely.
It's a great looking place.
It is. It's such a unique experience in comparison to any other festival I've ever been to. and it feels so much more, I don't want to say family oriented, but I would say
but it kind of
like
is.
familial-esque, right? It feels like a community, unlike most, which feel like a big money grab, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. You know what it kind of reminded me of, and this is pretty high praise, honestly, is Tom Fest. It's got the same vibe as
Mm.
Tom Fest used to back in the day, where
Yeah.
somebody who knows what they're doing is in charge. And uh, you know, uh, most festivals now, if they're successful, they know what they're doing, right? But everybody talking right now, and anybody listening to this or who knows any of the bands that we all know together, knows the other way to do it, which is a half-ass nightmare with not enough bathrooms, nowhere to
Yeah.
sleep, and etc. But like Tom Fest was one of the best experiences as a festival. I put it right up there with the prime of Cornerstone, because Mikey was such a great guy, and he looked out for people, man, and he looked out for the bands, and as a result, everybody was super stoked to go play. You didn't need a gajillion dollars to play. You knew it'd be worth it, and there'd be a good show, and people would be stoked, and you'd sell a bunch of t-shirts. So what's the big deal? Plus, Mikey was one of us and is one of us, so you know there's a trust there that is real. And Chad and Ryan as well, those guys, I don't know anyone else involved with it, and I only really know Chad and Ryan through sort of our conversations over the years. But when you're in good hands, man, and it's a good one. By the way, I will say I'm not going to be able to do the ComCon. I don't know if you guys have heard about
Yeah, we
this
did
at
hear
all.
about it, that they were kind of
Mhm.
bringing it back.
Because I can only take 1 week off for work. Realistically, I've got to do the Stavesacre show, so I wouldn't be able to get away for that. But I'm super bummed. So that is
Yeah.
going to be happening for anybody who's interested in that. It's going to be, I think it's in Southern California, but
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it'll be
Are,
cool. It'll be good.
are you still working with NASCAR?
I don't work with NASCAR. I work in TV, so I cover different sports. I do cover
Okay.
some NASCAR sport, some NASCAR sport. I do cover some NASCAR. I do cover some golf. I do a bunch of random stuff, but I don't talk about it as much, just because you know it, ke-
Sure.
it's a very weird world.
I can imagine so.
A little more conservative than you might expect.
Oh, I expect it's quite conservative. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It's just everybody has their own system of beliefs, and I'm not really interested in sorting them all out.
Yeah.
But I also know that some people just don't possess the ability to understand nuance of any kind.
Ah,
So
yes. Yes.
Fair
I
enough.
appreciate that as well.
Well, you mentioned you've got a guilty pleasure that you're looking forward to.
yeah,
What like are you staying around like most of the weekend to watch other shows?
I'm gonna be there for the whole thing unless they freak out a little bit and I have to go back to work on Sunday. I don't know, for one of the job that I do during that time of the year, but the plan is to be there for the whole thing. We're gonna go rehearse in Nashville, where Dirk lives now. So Stavesacre will rehearse that week, and then we'll all drive over just like we did with the last one, but not from Atlanta
Nice.
this time. And
So
yeah.
so you're not doing all of Speakeasy because of the time slot, but
Right.
what should listeners expect for then? Should we be kind of expecting a best of, or just like your
I mean,
guys' favorites, or what?
we definitely are trying to think of what was fun to play live and what people seem to enjoy live. But anybody's welcome to jump on the Stavesacre Instagram, send a message, let your will be known. We can. I'm down for it to be fun and to be whatever people want to see. So
Oh
you
yeah.
know, I don't really have too strict. Unfortunately, some of the more deep dive type of jams, that's not really the setting for it. But
Right.
I'm
man,
gonna
what
go
I would love,
find I'm gonna
I'd
go
love to.
find every single song where you hit the absolute top of your register, and I'm gonna force you to sing every one
Thanks
of
for
those.
that. Yeah, dude. Let's do Against the Silence back to back for 30 straight minutes.
Yes.
You want to see a guy die on stage? It'll happen.
Yeah, you'll be like what,
Mhm.
like 55 by that point? So
I'm
it really
already
could be your
55.
last.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the first, and not the first. The last time I saw Larry Norman, I think he was my age, and he passed not long after that. So I'm like, and I was laughing then, but I'm not laughing now. God.
What other bands are you looking forward to seeing on the weekend?
Well, obviously, I think we're playing the same day as Living Sacrifice, and Bruce and the boys will always be friends. I don't know if Blindside is doing that, but if they were
They
there, I would
played last year,
absolutely
but
not
they
miss
did
it.
just announce recently that they're releasing a new album. So there is
Yeah.
that.
I mean,
Yeah.
that'd be cool. I seriously, I don't. I was just trying to think of like who might be doing that because I know some of the other bands kind of from our sort of time were there. One of my, you had asked me earlier about guilty pleasures, and so I feel like this is a good time to discuss
This
that.
is a good time. Let's roll into it.
Okay, so you know how most like you're not allowed to do too much. Okay, you really can't be a singer like in a band and a stand-up comedian. That's not a thing anybody wants. Okay, nobody, nobody wants that. All right, you can't be,
Have you ever heard of Childish Gambino?
you you have, and he just retired his stand-up career,
That's
if I'm
true.
not
That's true.
mistaken. And in all honesty, it's like think about it. Like, would you? I guess he might be an exception, but it's pretty freaking rare, dude. And
It's very rare.
If Bill Burr suddenly started a hardcore band, 100% it would suck. Okay, and you wouldn't like it. Saying you're really not
Probably.
supposed to be able to do two things. And Steve Martin wrote a couple novels. Did you know that? Shop Girl was one of them. It's pretty famous,
Oh,
but
I
it's
did know
just not
that.
really
Yeah.
what people want from Steve Martin. And yes, he's an amazing banjo player, but they mostly want him to do the acting thing, maybe
Yeah.
some comedy. So there's more depth to that theory, but we could go into it at a different time. The point
Sure.
is, I do I do enjoy Instagram. I do enjoy some social media, but mostly what I watch is I'll do Instagram because I follow about 5 million artists on there that I love. And then YouTube as well because that's really the only news that I get. I have to be careful about what I watch so I don't echo chamber it up. But I ca- I came across this guy during COVID. You guys might even be familiar with him, who was like remixing internet drama and turning into songs. His name is Lubelin. He he did this song about this argument these two people had on Facebook about somebody stealing their broccoli casserole recipe.
Yes. Yes, I have
It's
seen
beautiful.
this.
It's incredible. It's outstanding. And he did a bunch of those songs. Well, turns out his solo stuff is actually really, really good. It's really, really quality. It's artful and it makes sense and it's beautiful. And I was thinking like that is weird. You shouldn't be good at like internet goofiness and then also be a good musician. And so that's where it opened a little door for me. And then one day I realized a guy that I've been following for quite a while is also a musician. His name is Petey. Do you know who Petey USA
Yes,
is?
he's so
Yeah.
good. I'm
He's
so
very good.
looking
I didn't know
forward
it
to
was the
it.
same guy.
He's
No, no, no,
outstanding
it's not
too.
the same guy.
Oh, okay.
It is the same guy. Petey USA is
What?
Petey from Instagram, dude. I'm telling you, that's the same
Well,
guy.
I thought you were talking.
It
I thought you
is.
were saying, Cullen, that Lubelin and Petey are
Oh
the
yeah, no,
same.
no. Lubelin is a different. That was just my kind of my gateway to the possibility that somebody who does skits on the internet on social
Gotcha.
media might actually be a good artist. And dude, I freaking love that guy. His album, Larger Than Life. I'm getting the name wrong,
Lean
but
into life.
Lean Into Life. Lean Into Life is like there's like three songs on it that I don't listen to. The rest of it's incredible. It's outstanding. Guy's got a completely original take on stuff. He doesn't sound like a bunch of people. He definitely has his own thing going on, and then still writes records. But then his little videos. My boys and I with at work have been sharing this dude's videos with each other for years, like all the characters that he made up. Puff Sullivan, Legend of Sig Corner. It's just a guy like always lighting a cigarette, always like 5 cigarettes. Hey guys, and he's got like sage advice or whatever. But Craig, the guy who smiles weird,
Yeah.
Oh my God, the way he smiles, it's so weird. Like, dude, we've been sending these videos back to each other for years, and then I hear this song of his. I'm like, get out of here. And sure enough, man, it's outstanding. And then I found out after we booked Furnacefest that PD is playing, dude. He's playing on the same day as us. So I am 100% going to be at that show.
He does
Hell yeah.
feel
That is a
like he does feel like kind of a odd man out in terms of the general
totally.
scene of bands that are playing, both like the emo alternative bands and obviously the hardcore and metalcore bands. He does kind of feel like an odd man out of like one of the people that just like what isn't in the scene. But you are
Oh,
right
yeah.
that his music is incredible. In fact, one of probably my most listened to songs so far in 2025 is "Don't Tell the Boys." That
That's
song gets
incredible,
me.
dude.
That song gets me every
Bro,
time. Like,
you send that song. I have sent that song consciously and intentionally to friends of mine going through it. Like I don't that's high praise as far as I'm concerned. And then one of the guys that I turned on to it, months and months later, he's like, you gotta hear this song, man. You heard a don't tell the I'm like, dude, I'm the guy who freaking turned you on to that. Yeah. And it's dude, that song is great. Microwave Dinner. I mean, honestly, that whole record is so good. And then I've heard some of the newer songs. I straight up love them. I think the dude's got a lot of talent.
Mark, you know what you
Uh,
need to do is you need to go backstage before he goes on, and you need to be the cigarette guy with the sage wisdom advice and everything.
oh god. Just the thought of how stinky those things are would just bum me out so hard.
Well, then just get some candy cigarettes and just have some fun with it.
Dude,
the
I
thing
can't.
is
My
he
wife and I, she never knew I smoked for years, dude, and I can't believe there's no way I didn't stink like an ashtray. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say that PD actually was in this like really interesting indie rock band from Chicago for a while called Young Jesus, and I've never really listened to them, but he was in that
Okay,
band for a while. So he like, I mean, he has a music background for like
dude,
especially indie stuff. Like
sure.
he has a whole background for it.
Dude, as far as I'm concerned, that just makes him even cooler. Like, I literally had no idea that he did any of that stuff until me and my buddies started watching these idiotic, absurdist videos that make absolutely no sense. Hey, man, do you have a water? Yeah, here's this ladder. No, no, a water. And it's always him. It's just, dude, it's so good. But between him and I listened to Stephen Wilson Jr., who's sort of a guilty pleasure because I think he might be married to an old Christian rock artist, the singer from Sixpence None the Richer. Do you
Oh,
know?
really?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I think they're married. I didn't know that connection was there, but that dude's music just hits me deeply. It's
that's an
incredible.
interesting one.
Oh man, Son of Dad is outstanding.
I'm trying to.
Yeah,
What's her name again?
it's Wiley, I believe,
No,
right?
no,
No,
that's one of the other artists or one of the other artists in the band.
Oh, Leah
Her,
Nash,
Leah.
Lee
Yeah,
that's right.
Nash,
Leah.
Lee. I think it's just
Lee,
Lee.
Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess they're married. I didn't know that, but man, that record. Do not listen to that record unless you have. If you, do not listen to that record if you are in an emotional place and you have had issues with your family.
or too much to drink, maybe.
I mean, it's good stuff, man.
It
Yeah,
looks
And
like they
yeah,
got married in 2011. So yeah, they've been married for a little while.
yeah.
Cool.
I did not know. It's a very weird thing, but
All
I think
right,
that's
let's
the
hear
gems.
another guilty pleasure of yours there then.
All right. I play Call of Duty all the time. Love it. All the time.
Oh.
I play with all my buddies from work. I play it with my old David Cotton, the old manager of Stavesacre, and a couple of his friends. I play with my boy Troy and his lady, and we are on there all the time, dude.
All right, let's test you then. What's your go-to loadout?
I mean, I just right now I favor the LMGs, but I've been doing the Ladra SMG because it's just like a driller. It just annihilates people. It's so funny, dude. I love it. We'll be my wife goes to bed fairly early because of her job, so I that's time for me to go turn it on and shoot the bad guys.
What's your I assume that you play online as well.
Only, yeah, yeah.
What's your trash talk game like?
I tend to anytime somebody talks trash or starts being profane, like I might swear and have unsavory practices in my personal life or something, I don't know, that people would not approve of, but I'm not a troll. I don't try to bum people out. So if somebody does while we're playing, I usually overcorrect. Oh, hi. How are you? Oh, what an insight. Please
Why
tell
do
me
you
more.
sound
Like
like
I
the
just
Joker from
it
Batman?
just comes out of me, dude. I can't help it, man. I start talking like as quietly and sincerely as possible. Oh, tell me about it. How's that make you feel, man? Are you okay? Are you good? You
It
know?
somehow sounds more sinister than if you were being like
I
vocally
mean, it's usually
abhorrent.
some kid going, "You stupid," like it's always it's always some little shit, and it's like I know for a fact, dude, you look over both of your shoulders before you say half the stuff you say while you're on here, man. So just know we both know.
He's got like a mirror coming off of his like TV just to make sure that he's like always watching for parents to come in.
Yep, 55-year-old man. Love playing video games with my buddies.
That's fun. That's fun.
You would have really gotten along with a bunch of my friends in 2011 in high school.
Probably. I'm a child. 50, we did not have children, so I live in a constant state of suspended adulthood.
Yeah,
55-year-old
I swear to God, their whole life
teenager.
was Call of Duty for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, it's too
Have
much. I mean,
you?
I should be doing much more and doing more things, but
I don't know if you're a Star Wars fan or not, but have you played
I
the
am.
Battlefront games?
I haven't. I like dudes to blow up.
Oh, sure.
I
Well,
like to
that
see
makes
their
sense.
arms. I love the gory element of Call of Duty. Just I don't know why, dude. I was a big GTA fan. I loved all that stuff too. So anything that
Understandable.
involves chasing your buddies around is fun. But
True.
I wanna
True.
I wanna see I like to see the ultraviolets, which is probably something that will come up in therapy at some point. I don't know.
I can
Love it.
understand that. Any other guilty pleasures for you?
Nah, man, I'm a pretty easygoing guy. My wife and I watch our shows and we just chill. Try not
You're
to.
getting very, very close to saying, I got to watch my programs.
I
That's how
gotta
you
watch
know
my
you're,
story.
yeah, got to watch my stories.
I mean, I love. My wife and I get real critical. We'll be watching stuff like, what do they think we are? Children? What is this writing? Like it's just we're very judgmental, man. One of my biggest pet peeves about my shows is when I get into something and I'm like, dude, how are they going to resolve this conflict? This is insane. Where is this going? And then they don't, and they fail. And it's like, that's why you wrote such a complex story. You had no plan to get out of it. This is
Yeah.
insulting to me. Don't waste my time.
Isn't that frustrating? And it feels like
It
more and
is.
more shows are doing that now ever than before.
I mean,
Like,
dude, how many times are you going to go back and watch Game of Thrones knowing it ended so stupidly? I have no interest. It's
yep,
like,
none for me
I
either.
know
Yeah.
what's looming in the distance is the dumbest last 5 episodes possible. Oh, can't wait till that comes.
I'm just
It's
realizing, Cullen,
true.
right now that like when we're 60 years old, so in what, like 30 years, we're gonna be like, hey, I want to watch my program, and we pull up YouTube to watch a Vine compilation.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, man.
probably.
The Vine
Probably.
compilations, dude. You know what I get up down this weird rabbit hole of reaction videos,
Oh
which
yeah.
is such a. I know,
Do you
I
ever watch
know,
Dr. Mike?
I know. I don't think I've watched Dr. Mike. I like watching people who are listening to a genre of music that they normally wouldn't, and then it's like blows their mind or whatever. Does
Mark,
he do that?
you can just tell you that they're black. It's okay. We get
No, I love it when people have never like. Do you know who Heilung is? Heilung.
No.
They're like this Nordic. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys some homework for our show,
All right.
and all your little listeners out there. I want you to go on YouTube, and I want you to look up Heilung, spelled Heilung. Okay, and look for the song Anoana. Anoana. Anoana.
Oh, I feel like I'm familiar
Uh,
with this band.
the live video. Now, don't watch it right now. This is your homework. The three of us, we were going to go to a show, and we're going to meet there. You guys don't know who they are. They're this band that I'm really into called Heilung. I got us tickets. I'll leave them for you at the door. Come on inside. You'll find me. Okay. Now, I want you to imagine that you're in this room looking for me or anyone for that matter, and then the band starts. And that's the kind of reactions that I like. So
Yeah.
you get in on some of that stuff. Don't
I
worry,
dig it.
you'll be okay. You'll be okay.
I love that kind of stuff.
It's gnarly, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. My favorite is also like Gen Z or Gen Alpha listening to like music that everyone should have already heard already for the first time. So it'd be like listening to like Fleetwood Mac Rumors album or something like that. And they're just like blown away about how good it sounds.
So and so reacts to Stairway to Heaven. I've never heard this song. Like, you're just, shut up. You've heard it.
It is refreshing to like see somebody like actually hear something great for the first time though. You know what I mean?
I like, people who've never heard Rage Against the Machine, had no idea
that was
what
Mason
they
just a
were
couple
about
years
to
ago.
hear.
I love
And then
when
the
conservatives
double
find out that Rage Against the Machine aren't Republicans. Like they find out that
the double whammy.
No, but they had Donald Trump in one of their music videos.
Dude, if you could direct me to that channel, I'll watch that shit all night.
Just rage baiting them.
Dude,
All
I was
right.
in a cover band with some guys, and one of the dudes wanted to cover uh Killing in the Name of, and
Sure.
you know, dude, it'll be so fun. Like, we're not doing that song. It's just a cuss word, it's just a song, but it's not the language I'm having a problem with. I'm not doing that song with you.
You.
You don't know what that song's about. And that is insulting to the song, man.
You were
We
for
are not
Iraq and
doing that.
Afghanistan.
Yeah, dude. Anyway,
Oh.
yeah.
Well,
All right,
what do
Mike,
you
what
want
would
to
you like to plug?
Sorry.
What would you like to plug, man?
Come see the show. Everybody come see the show. It'll be fun. We will play our old hearts out. I believe we're October 5th. It's 4th, 5th, and 6th or something. We're the Saturday. We're the Saturday of that show. But come to the show. It'll be great.
Oh yeah.
And
I did notice you could also still get the vinyl that you guys re-released, or repressed, I should say, or pressed for the first time. Is it a
yeah.
Yeah.
So Unoriginal Vinyl has done a few repressings for us, and I'm sure we'll be talking to them about doing some, because the pressings like 300 units or something like that. Those things go pretty quick. So
Yeah.
there's at least 300 people who still give a rat's. So as long as there are, we'll make sure that we get them some records and stuff.
Hell yeah. Good. Anything else?
Come visit us on Instagram page if you want. Stavesacre's in there, or say hello to me. We can talk politics.
Good. Good.
favorite? Mark,
be into
anything
that.
else you'd like to plug?
No, man. I mean, what am I? I don't know what I'm plugging otherwise, other than this show. I don't know.
Fair enough. You don't have anything about like the Raiders? No new news about them
Oh,
moving to Oakland or anything?
no, I don't have anything about them moving to Oakland. They're fine where they are. The
We're just
stadium is
looking for some
beautiful.
insider knowledge. Is all.
The insider information that I have for you is that my team might actually be watchable this year. So
Might being the key word there.
Amen.
As long as Pete Carroll has got all the gum in Henderson County, you'll be all right.
Here, our quarterback routinely looked like he just found out that morning that he was playing. So as long as we're better than that, man, I'm good.
That reminds me. Did you see that picture of the guy? I think he's like the CIA guy that Trump like put in a charge of the CIA.
Yeah.
But like his federal photo that they like post on the internet. I remember like when they initially posted that, when like Trump was like doing his like head of cabinet or whatever people, but the photo that they posted of him, it's like so startling looking the way he looks. And somebody like quote tweeted and said, it looks like he just found out that he like has this job.
It's certainly possible too.
I do. The kid that he hired for
the 22-year-old
counterintelligence, yeah.
I mean, that's the oldest looking 22-year-old I'd ever seen.
Didn't they say like his only prior experience is like a busboy or some shit?
He was a gardener and a waiter, which I'm not disparaging that. I just think
for
it's
sure
weird that you would put the counterintelligence in the hands of a kid who literally has been driving for 4 years, who just got legal to drink booze. Really, man?
Who knows? Maybe he's some like whiz kid savant.
What they're doing is
probably watches you play Call of Duty.
He probably does.
I mean, dude, they're watching everything you're doing, so it doesn't really matter.
He's an
at this point. Yeah. It's yet another NPC that I get to deal with.
You gotta at least make sure that if they're gonna listen to you, make sure it's entertaining for them, right?
I will do my best.
Make them regret listening to you.
A malicious compliance related reactions. I'm into it now.
Love it.
Well, Mark, thinly veiled threats the entire time. Threats on the president's life in particular.
You are not allowed to say, I want to kill the president of the United States. It's highly illegal. Highly illegal. You cannot say that.
I don't want to do that at all. I do want justice for the American people, man. I want justice for the people of this country and for the people of all the countries that are out there.
Yes, especially Candyland.
Okay, you lib.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah. Kooky theology.
I love it.
Well, Mark, thanks for hanging out. It's always a pleasure to hang out. We will see you in October. We'll give you a big hug. We'll give you a big bear hug, and we can't wait to see the Stavesacre set.
Outstanding.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
we'll be jamming out. So thanks so much for hanging out. We'll see you soon.
Come to Furnacefest and hang out with me. All right, brother.